Hi, I'm Alice from Choice, and today we're talking about home automation and smart lights, specifically with our tech expert, Alex. So can you tell me, what exactly are smart lights and what makes them different to normal lights?
Yeah, sure. They're basically just your regular LED bulb, but they've got some wireless connectivity built in. So that means you can control them with an app or with your voice if you've got a smart assistant and get them to do stuff like turn on and off, dim, change color, and do pre-programmed stuff like you can do this thing which is called creating a scene. And what that is you can set multiple lights in your house to do different things. So you might say, hey Google, it's movie time, and your lights above you dim down to 10% and all the other lights in the room turn off.
Cool. So what kind of people might want to install smart lights?
There are a bunch of reasons, aside from the obvious easiest factor of not having to get off the couch or get out of bed. You can do stuff like you can tie them in with your alarm, so you turn off your alarm in the morning, all the lights turn on, so you can't really go back to sleep. But one of the more overlooked things, I think, is for people with accessibility problems. So if you have trouble getting around the house, it makes it a lot easier. You don't have to make it to the light switch. And if you've got trouble speaking and you can't use the smart assistant, you can still do it via your phone or a tablet.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So not just for millennials who are too lazy to get off the couch.
No, but for them too.
Nice. So how much would you spend kitting out your home with smart lights?
They can cost anything from about $30 a bulb up to $90, depending on the kind of features you want and the brand you go with. But interestingly, in terms of running costs, they don't actually tend to use much more energy than a regular light bulb. So in our test, we found some of them used exactly the same amount as a regular LED light. Some of them used a bit more, but generally it's about $5 a year per bulb, which is quite standard for lighting.
Yeah, that's not so bad. So once you've spent the initial amount to install them, then you're not looking at too much more in terms of running costs.
Yeah, absolutely. And for an equivalent brightness bulb, you might pay about $20 in Woolies or Coles for an LED light, whereas $30 for a smart light, you're basically just paying $10 extra for those features.
And are there differences in terms of the running costs depending on the type of smart light you have as well?
Yeah, so obviously brightness is a factor, but one of the main things we found is if you're running a small number of bulbs, it can make a difference, because I've actually got some here, some lights need what's called a bridge. So the lights need to connect to this, which in turn connects to your router. Now this uses up about the same amount as a bulb, about $5 a year. So if you're just running one light, it's twice as much, but if you're running 10, then it's not too much of a difference. Whereas another brand like LifeX connects directly to your router, and this uses about the same amount of energy as this, a little bit less actually, which is quite impressive. So it's not too much of a factor.
Okay, so is it just that the technology's so good that they're super efficient and they're not going to use a lot of electricity?
Yeah, they've basically, they're always on. You leave the light switch on all the time when you have them, which is something you need to keep in mind. But they have a very impressive standby mode, which seems to use very little power whatsoever.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what other kind of cool or fun stuff can you do with your smart lights? Like, what do you do at home yourself?
So I do that movie mode thing that I mentioned before, and the alarm, which can actually be pretty brutal some mornings. But other than that, I have a setting where instead of having to walk around the house every night and make sure all of my lights are off, I've just set it so that once it hit 4 a.m, they all turn off automatically if they're not already off. Simple thing to do, and obviously a little bit lazy, but it everything helps when it comes to saving energy. So
fair enough. Thanks, Alex.
No worries.
If you'd like to learn more about smart lights, visit choice.com.au.